Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Divisavia. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Sri Lanka marks 14 years since the end of the 3-decade-long brutal war. 70 unqualified local government commissioners to be removed. Local government bodies instructed to prioritize dengue prevention program. 7.8 magnitude earthquake strikes South Pacific. Triggers tsunami warning for Vanuatu, Fiji and Kiribati. National Beach Volleyball Championships underway.
Convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Vasantha Mudalige, and 7 others who were arrested on Thursday night will be produced to the Mahara Magistrates Court on Friday.
Sri Lanka Police arrested the convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Vasantha Mudalige, and 7 others during a protest at the University of Kelaniya. Students were protesting against student suppression and the conduct of the government. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Taldua told News First that among the arrested is Venerable Ratkarawe Jinaratana Thero. 2 police officers who attempted to control the protest were injured as well. A heavy police force was deployed to the area to control the protest, including the anti-riot squad of Sri Lanka Police.
The National War Heroes Day, alias Victory Day, that pays tribute to the valor of patriotic war heroes who laid their lives against terrorism and division of the country, is commemorated on the 19th of May at Battaramulla War Heroes Monument. The event will be held with the participation of the President, Ministers, Secretary Defence, Chief of Defence Staff, Tri-Service Commanders, next of kin of fallen war heroes and other invitees. News First takes a look at 14 years since the end of the brutal war.
Following the assassination of the mayor of Jaffna, Alfred Duraiappa, on the 27th of July 1975, the most brutal and devastating war was born, claiming lives of hundreds of thousands of innocents. The meaningless war cost the country a lot in terms of international condemnation, loss of investments, a falling economy, stalled development, destruction of national assets and resources, uncertainty over life, and lack of trust among communities that form the Sri Lankan fabric. In a dark chapter of its history, Sri Lanka gained prominence around the world in the use of phrases such as suicide bombings, armed conflict, intimidation and terror. Sri Lanka started to witness the birth of mass checkpoints and restrictions to normal life. On the 18th of May 2009, the terrorism wrought by the LTTE was buried forever at the Nandi Kadal Lagoon. Thereafter, the checkpoints ceased to exist. The Yal Devi train moved to the south after more than 2 decades, while the development of the south was shared with the people of the north and east. The victory brought all Sri Lankans the freedom to live in one nation. Smiles replaced sorrow on the faces of the Sri Lankan people, and this is the period to protect the peace that was won. The peace that was won can only be protected by a generation that thinks afresh with common understanding.
In more local news, dengue cases are on the rise, and the State Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Governments said all local government authorities have been informed to prioritize dengue control measures.
State Minister Janaka Vakumbura said directives were issued after summoning provincial governors, local government commissioners, municipal council commissioners and divisional secretaries. He highlighted the need for the people to be actively involved in the dengue eradication program.
සියලුම පළාත් පාලන ආයතන තමන්ගේ ප්‍රදේශයේ තියෙන බස් ස්ටෑන්ඩ් එහෙම නැත්නම් පොළවල් මේ සෑම තැනකම
All local government institutions were instructed to clean bus stands and weekly markets in the area. It is being done. All state institutions are cleaning their surroundings with the police and health units. We request the people to support this cause, as it is difficult to achieve this without their support. We will continue to look into this and take necessary measures. If it is not being done in a certain area, if the relevant local government body or provincial council is informed, they will do the needful.
පාලන ආයතන සහ එහෙම නැත්නම් පළාත් සභාවට දැනුම් දුන්නොත් ඒ අවශ්‍ය කටයුතු එයයි කරන්න කටයුතු කරනවා.
Director of the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children, Dr. G. Vijay Surya, said the number of children being admitted to the hospital with dengue is also on the rise. He said 43 children are receiving treatment at the hospital for dengue at present.
5 or 6 children are admitted to the hospital daily with dengue. Among these, 42 and around 10 have a severe case of dengue. After contracting dengue, all there is to do is to receive treatment. If a child or an adult experiences symptoms such as fever, headache, body ache, nauseousness or pain under their eyes these days, especially in children, seek medical attention. For adults, seek medical attention if the fever does not go down in 2 days and do the dengue test. Since viral flus are spreading these days, it is difficult to identify it with symptoms and a blood test must be done.
මේ දිනවල වෙනත් වෛරස් රෝගات පැතිරීමක් තියෙන නිසා මේ රෝගී තත්ත්වය රෝග ලක්ෂණ වලින් හඳුනා ගැනීමට ඉතාමත් අපහසුයි. ඒ නිසා රුධිර පරීක්ෂාවකින් තමයි ඩෙන්ගු.
The National Dengue Control Unit said 57 MOH divisions in 6 districts of Sri Lanka are still high-risk areas for dengue. 34,801 dengue cases have been reported in Sri Lanka so far this year. The highest number of dengue patients are reported from the Western Province. Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardana, convened a media briefing.
විශේෂයෙන් බස්නාහිර පළාත තුළ මේ වන විටත් ඩෙන්ගු රෝගය සීක්‍රියෙන් පැතිරීගෙන යනවා. මේ පිළිබඳව අපි දිගින් දිගටම මහ ජනතාව අපි දැනුවත් කරා. විශේෂයෙන් වර්ෂා.
The spread of dengue is at increasing rate in the Western Province. We have created awareness among general public in this regard continuously. Due to the rainy season, the situation could worsen. The spread of dengue largely happens in government offices, places of worship, schools, abandoned construction sites. Especially dumping of garbage should be done methodically. If you have fever, headache or body pain, consult a doctor. Do not get prepared to take medicines based on your assessment. We have identified Den V2 and Den V3 as 2 viruses that are spreading. Our immunity against Den V3 is at a low.
අවශ්‍ය බෙහෙත් තමන් බොන්න ලෑස්ති වෙන්න එපා. ඒ අපි කිසිසේත් අනුමත කරන්නේ මේ කාලේදී වැඩිපුරම පැතිරෙන වෛරසය විදියට අපි හඳුනාගෙන තියෙන වෛරස් කාණ්ඩ දෙකක් Den 2 සහ Den 3 කියන එක. මෙම Den 3 කියන එක මේකට අපගේ තියෙන ප්‍රතිශක්තිය හරි අඩුයි. ඒ නිසා මේ Den 3 ප්‍රභේදය නිසා රෝගය හැදෙන්න තියෙන ප්‍රවණතාවය වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්.
The State Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Governments said new officers are being appointed to replace unqualified divisional secretaries and municipal council commissioners. State Minister Janaka Wakumbura said nearly 70 such unqualified officials have been identified.
මේ වෙනකොට පළාත් පාලන ආයතන 70
Officials who did not fulfill the relevant criteria were appointed to nearly 70 local government institutions. We informed those local government bodies to appoint qualified persons instead. A responsible and qualified person must be appointed as there are no public representatives as well. A qualification alone is not enough. Those who can manage the institution and do the job should be appointed. If there are public complaints, we'll take necessary measures if they are qualified, but do not listen to the people or fulfill their duty.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said the government is misleading the people via the concept of debt reworking.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa met with the Ceylon Bank Employees Union for talks on Thursday.
Until the 31st of March, the government continuously noted that domestic debt will not be restructured. The president also did not make any other comment. However, after the IMF agreement was finalized, they are spinning a separate story with regard to debt. Now they claim that Sri Lanka will have to rework its domestic debt. Why are you misleading the people? It is said that domestic debt will be restructured before anything else. The government cannot act according to its own whims and fancies. The people will not allow that. We will defeat the attempts made by the government to restructure domestic debt within and outside Parliament. We are ready to extend the support to the government if they say that they will not restructure domestic debt.
ඒ සහයෝගයත් අපි රජයත් එක්ක එක්ක හොයලා ජාත්‍යන්තරයට කියන්න අපි ලෑස්ති.
The Democratic Left Front convened a media briefing in Colombo, calling for an election to be held immediately.
පවතින්නේ ජනතාවට උඩින් තිබෙන බලය.
What exists is a power that undermines the people. What we need is power that arises from among the people in a democratic manner. We urge to hold the local government election for this purpose. We must challenge the program carried out by Ranil Wickremesinghe and the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna to enforce power on the people from above by avoiding the conduct of the local government election. For this, we must bring our powers together. We propose to all parties to organize a public movement to ensure the people's supremacy through the voting power. We want to put a stop to the stubborn rule of the government. That can only be done through a united effort to pressure the government.
ආණ්ඩුවේ මේ හිතුවක්කාර බලය ඒකයටත් කරන්න පුළුවන් සියලු දෙනාගේ එක්සත් වූ මහා බලයකින් ආණ්ඩුව කෙරෙහි ඇති කරන තද බලපෑමක් තුලින් පමණයි.
Another phase of evaluation of answer scripts of the advanced level examination commenced on Friday.
Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundara said answer scripts of subjects that are followed by many students, including economics, agriculture and Buddhist civilization, will be evaluated under this phase. 32 evaluation centres have been established for this purpose. The evaluation of answer scripts of 2 subjects of the A-level exam was completed, and the evaluation of answer scripts of 6 other subjects is ongoing at present. The evaluation of answer scripts related to science subjects is due to commence promptly. The evaluation of answer scripts of the A-level exam was delayed for over 2.5 months due to the trade union action of university teachers and teachers not applying for paper marking.
Vice Chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Shan Vijayalal De Silva, commented on crossovers.
Those who change their party do not follow a policy. They don't think of the country or people, and do so for selfish reasons and personal benefits. This is not a new situation. There was an era when many groups changed their party to strengthen the head of the state at that time. I challenge you to look into your conscience and say you're following this policy for the country and its people and not for selfish reasons. Groups are not gathering as parties today. Instead, people with the same stance are being promised certain things to join parties, and it's being shown to the world as a common unified government representing all factions. It is not a successful attempt.
හැමෝම එකට ඉන්න පොදු සම්මුතිවාදී ආණ්ඩුවක් කියලා ඒක මම හිතන්නේ තරම්ම සාර්ථක උත්සාහයක් නෙවෙයි.
The Ministry of Education announced that 7,400 science faculty diploma holders will be deployed to schools next month. The process of handing over appointment letters is currently taking place. The ministry noted that 1,000 of them will be deployed to national schools, while the remaining diploma holders will be deployed to provincial council schools. The Ministry of Education further noted that this appointment will fill the vacancies in mathematics, English and other subjects in the ordinary level syllabus. There are many rural Sri Lankan villages that have been deprived of access to clean drinking water for many years. The village of Palupite in Vilgamur is one such village that has been facing this issue for decades. On Friday, a clean drinking water project was launched to mark the 80th birth anniversary of the late R. Rajamahendran, the founder of Gammadda and the late chairman of the capital Maharaja Group.
Village of Palupitiya in Vilgamur is located in the Matale district and is home to around 250 families. The primary issue faced by these rural Sri Lankans was the lack of access to clean drinking water. Many lives in this village were at risk due to the consumption of saline water that is harmful to one's health. The local school, the Palupitiya Primary School, is also faced with the same issue of lack of access to clean drinking water. On Friday, Gammadda gave hope to the people of this village by declaring open a clean drinking water system for the village of Palupitiya in Vilgamur, another project by the Gammadda movement. The project was supported by the IDA Soisa Trust in memory of its founder H.I.H. Soisa. The National Program for Chronic Kidney Disease operating under the Ministry of Health consulted the projects, while the Sri Lanka Navy provided its technical expertise.
The LOLC Divisavia Program that aims to support the education of Sri Lankan children took place entering the Polonnaruwa district today.
School books and stationery equipment are being distributed to school children under the Divisavia program. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC group and the Ministry of Education. School books and stationery equipment were distributed to children of 8 schools in the Hinguraggoda Education Zone and Dimbulagala Education Zone belonging to the Polonnaruwa district under the LOLC Divisavia program. School supplies were distributed to the children of Wevethanna Takshila Primary School and Indaratana Primary School of the Polonnaruwa Education Zone today. School books and stationery equipment were also provided to children of Jayantipura Gunawardhanapura Primary School belonging to the Hinguraggoda Education Zone under the LOLC Divisavia program. Divisavia is being carried out to ensure a bright future for the children of Sri Lanka.
The Travel Association of India has decided to hold their annual general meeting in Sri Lanka from the 6th to the 9th of July 2023.
They've come to Sri Lanka to hold their AGM. They've supported and they've now confirmed the dates for July 6th to the 9th to hold their AGM in Colombo, Indian Travel Agents AGM, because it will give us great strides into promoting Sri Lanka, and the Indians have been great supporters of Sri Lanka over the period of time, and this is our off season and it's an ideal time to promote and get more Indian tourists into Sri Lanka. And also we are going to be making a request to the President today to at least grant the Indians on the off-season for a gratis visa for the off-season period, which will be about till October, to promote tourism, because we do charge only $20, and I think the impact on Indian tourists coming into Sri Lanka will be much more than $20. So this will be looked favorably by the Finance Minister and the President, hopefully.
Up next is Crime Watch.
Crime Watch. One person was injured in a shooting that took place at the Dawatagaha estate in Kadawata on Thursday night, and he was admitted to the Ragama hospital for treatment. The injured man was identified as a 50-year-old resident of Suryapalua, Kadawata. Sri Lanka Police said that his brother, nephew and another man were arrested in connection to the shooting. It is reported that the shooting had taken place over a land dispute. Police investigations revealed that when the man was standing on the road next to his residence, the suspects had arrived in a three-wheeler and opened fire at him, and had also used the same weapon to assault his wife before fleeing the scene. Sri Lanka Police said the rifle that was used to commit the crime and the three-wheeler were seized. The suspects are aged 56, 20 and 25 from Ganemulla and Yakkala. The suspects will be produced to the Mahara Magistrates Court. Crime Watch.
Sri Lanka Police arrested 2 people for allegedly assaulting a driver of a suicide ambulance in Wattegedera, Maharagama.
Sri Lanka Police said the suspects, who were under the influence of alcohol, assaulted a driver of a suicide ambulance on Thursday night, and they are residents of Wattegedera. The police complaint records the driver was assaulted after responding to a call received via the 1990 suicide hotline, claiming that a person was injured. The injured driver of the suicide ambulance is currently receiving treatment at the Kalubovila Hospital.
The remains of the late Supreme Mahanika of Sri Lanka, Amarapura Mahanika, Agamaha Pandita, the most venerable Dodampahala Chandrasiri Mahanika Thera, were placed at the Rajagiriya Gotama Tapowanaya.
The final rites of the late Supreme Mahanika of the Sri Lanka Amarapura Mahanikaya, Agamaha Pandita, the most venerable Dodampahala Chandrasiri Mahanika Thera, will take place with full state honours and sponsorship at the Independence Square in Colombo on the 21st of May. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa Sagalaratnayaka, the President's senior advisor on national security and chief of the presidential staff, as well as chief of the defence staff, General Shavendra Silva, were among those who paid their last respects. The Supreme Mahanika of the Sri Lanka Mahanika was hospitalized for an illness and passed away at the age of 84 on the 16th of May while receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo.
Legends Radio is celebrating its 10th anniversary. Legends 966 was founded in 2013 and it quickly became popular with listeners of all ages thanks to its wide variety of music and its commitment to playing the best songs from the past 5 decades. Over the past 10 years, Legends 96 has played a major role in Sri Lankan culture. The station has featured interviews with some of the biggest names in music. A 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck the South Pacific on Friday, the US Geological Service said, triggering a tsunami warning for nearby nations including Vanuatu, Fiji and Kiribati.
The U.S. National Tsunami Warning Center issued a tsunami alert for coasts located within 1,000 kilometers of the epicenter, which lay between Fiji, Vanuatu and New Caledonia. The Hawaii Emergency Management Agency tweeted that there was currently no threat of tsunami for Hawaii. Tsunami waves reaching up to 1 meter are possible along some coasts of Vanuatu, according to the U.S. National Tsunami Warning Center, downgrading an earlier assessment that said waves could be 3 meters high.
The National Beach Volleyball Championship 2023 got underway at the Negombo Beach on Friday. The tournament was inaugurated and conducted at Beach Park, Negombo, and will continue from the 19th to the 21st of May. Preliminary round matches were played on Friday morning across 8 arenas. The matches will be played under 4 categories, namely Open, Under 22, Under 19 and Under 16 for both men and women. The National Beach Volleyball Championship 2023 is organized by the Sri Lanka Volleyball Federation. Over 250 teams will be taking part in the National Beach Volleyball Championship 2023, and this is the first that a large amount of teams will be competing for the grand prize. That's a wrap of the lunchtime news. Join us again at 9 p.m. for primetime news on TV1.